There was a player so fast that a pitcher attempted to pick off an MLB record 17 times in a single inning, and it didn't work. This same player also holds a few stolen base records that might never be broken. In terms of longevity, Rickey Henderson has everyone beat by a landslide when it comes to stealing bases. But if we're looking at peak capabilities, there may not be anyone better than this forgotten stolen base king. The Insane Prime series will return next week, but today is the start of a new series. It will be known as In the Shadows, where I highlight an individual player, streak, or accomplishment. For episode 1, we'll be focusing on Rickey Henderson's shadow, a player not in the Hall of Fame, but one that was a menace on the base paths and did so from day one. That player is Vince Coleman. If you have any suggestions for future players to cover, make sure to leave a comment. As always, if you enjoy, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. Hit the bell to enable all notifications so you don't miss any future Camp 23 videos. Vince Coleman was a natural-born athlete. He attended Florida A&M to play college baseball and football. His sophomore year, he was able to walk on and play for the baseball team, stealing 107 bases in 2 years. In 1981, the Phillies drafted Vince in the 20th round, but he chose not to sign. The following year, he did sign with the Cardinals, who drafted him in the 10th round. As Vince later quipped, getting drafted that low was good for a first-class ticket to Johnson City, Tennessee. That quote comes directly from his Cardinals Hall of Fame induction speech, and if you have time, it's definitely worth checking out. Cardinals minor league coach George Kissel told Vince if he wanted to play in the big leagues, he should become a switch hitter. Coleman recalled Kissel's inspiring words: "Those who come early, stay late, stay around the longest." Dave Ricketts and Johnny Lewis were also instrumental coaches to Vince's development. The results during his 1983 season playing for single-A ball speak for themselves. He batted .350 with a .431 on base percentage and stole a staggering 145 bases in 113 games. Coleman's 145 steals set a minor league record that stood until 2013 when Billy Hamilton surpassed that mark. The outrageous numbers earned him a promotion directly to AAA, where he once again stole over 100 bases. Vince made his MLB debut on April 18, 1985. He stole 2 bags in his very first game and stole 3 bases in a single game just 3 days later. It wasn't long before the Cardinals knew they had found their new star player. Vince Coleman slotted in as the team's primary left fielder, taking away playing time from Lonnie Smith, a former All-Star and MVP runner-up. In his first 12 games, he tallied 12 stolen bases. After his first month in the big leagues, the Cardinals dealt Lonnie Smith to the Royals, sending the message to St. Louis that Vince was the guy. Each time he reached base, the pitcher was instantly fearful for what he was about to do. His enormous lead was an invitation to throw over. Vince did not discriminate. He tormented both lefties and righties. In May, Vince stole 19 more bases, followed up by back-to-back months with 20 plus. Then August rolled around, and he slumped. That's in air quotes, by the way, stealing 16 and finished the year with 22 between September and the first week of October. Altogether, that's 110 stolen bases as a rookie. For reference, Rickey Henderson in his first full season stole 100. Since 1900, Vince has the most stolen bases for any first-year ball player, and I don't see anyone approaching this anytime soon. Coleman sat atop the stolen base leaderboard, 40 ahead of Tim Raines for the National League lead and 30 ahead of Rickey Henderson for the MLB lead. It's worth noting Vince accomplished this despite posting a league average .320 on base percentage. This is where he hovered for his career, as he averaged a .324 on base percentage. The Cardinals were on their way to the World Series after beating the Dodgers in the National League Championship Series. During the NLCS, Vince Coleman suffered a freak accident involving an automated tarp that ran over his left leg. The pain he sustained prevented him from playing in the World Series against the Kansas City Royals. Former Cardinal Lonnie Smith made his old team pay, batting .333 with 4 runs driven in. The Cardinals without Vince Coleman were unable to win at all, falling to the Royals in 7 games. Vince's rise to base-stealing stardom in 1985 did not go unnoticed. He won Rookie of the Year honors and placed 11th in MVP voting. His 110 stolen bases led the National League and placed him 3rd on the all-time single-season stolen base leaderboard in the modern era, behind Rickey Henderson and Lou Brock. Vince's power numbers, or lack thereof, is crazy to think about. 636 at-bats and just 1 home run in Inside the Parker, go figure. While he lacked a high slugging percentage, when he reached first base, it was often as good as a double or triple. In 1986, Coleman got off to a slow start, by his standards, stealing 8 bases in 18 games. No need to worry, Vince was just getting warmed up. In May, he had his best offensive month to date, batting .319 with a .380 on-base percentage, leading to 16 stolen bases. He stole no less than 19 in a single month from June onward. June 1st, 1986 held one of baseball's wildest encounters. The Cardinals were facing the Reds and pitcher Chris Welsh was on the mound. He walked Vince to begin the game, who proceeded to steal second and third for good measure. While he got thrown out attempting to score on a sacrifice fly, the fear started to set in for Welsh. Next time up, Vince hit a single. One after another, Welsh threw over to first. Each time, Coleman successfully got back to the bag. A few instances were close calls, but by the time the shenanigans were through, Welsh had thrown over an astounding 17 times, an MLB record. The fans were so fed up with it that they booed him incessantly. All this did was delay the inevitable, as Vince eventually stole second base. His ability to decipher between a pickoff attempt and when a pitcher delivered to the plate was remarkable. This was magnified by the 17 pickoff fiasco, but it didn't stop there. Later that same game, Welsh was back at it again and finally got his man. He picked off Coleman, and this time it only took 6 throwovers. This will never happen again, as MLB allows pitchers just 2 pickoff attempts per plate appearance. To put his speed into perspective, he was once clocked at 31.6 feet per second. If Vince Coleman was in the major leagues in 2023, he would be Elly De La Cruz, ranked number 1 by more than 1 foot a second. Let's go a step further. The top 25 on this leaderboard are separated by 1 foot, making Vince the fastest, by far, ahead of the biggest steal threats in the game currently. In Vince's sophomore season, he collected 107 stolen bases, leading the league for a second straight season. He led the NL by 27 and Rickey Henderson by 20. As subpar as Vince's offensive abilities were in his rookie season, they were far worse in 1986. He was 38% below league average according to OPS+, an alternate form of on-base plus slugging that adjusts for ballpark and league and sets 100 as league average. Vince's numbers were down across the board. Hits, batting average, you name it. But the shocking reality is that even though he was reaching base less often, he stole 107 bases, 3 shy of the year before. His 88.4% success rate was the highest of his career. Meanwhile, Rickey Henderson was leading the American League in steals for the 7th season in a row. 1987 was arguably Vince Coleman's finest season of his career. He joined exclusive company when he stole 26 bases in August. The only players with more steals in a single month include Rickey Henderson, Maury Wills, Lou Brock, Ty Cobb, and Tim Raines. It would go on to be his 3rd season to steal 100 or more bases, tying Rickey Henderson as the only players to do so in the modern era. What's even more impressive is that Coleman did it consecutively, becoming the first player to steal 100 or more bases in each of their first 3 seasons. Vince dominated the stolen base leaderboard in 1987, stealing 49 bases more than the next closest player, Harold Reynolds, with 60. Tony Gwynn finished second in the National League with 56, slightly more than half of Coleman's total. For the year, Vince stole 109 bases with an 83.2% success rate. He posted a .289 batting average, 180 hits, a .363 on-base percentage, and finished 12th in MVP voting. Coleman and the Redbirds were once again in the hunt for a World Series ring after beating the Giants in a hard-fought 7-game championship series. In similarly disappointing fashion, the Cardinals fell in 7 games, this time to the Minnesota Twins. Vince got on base 6 times in the series, stole 6 bases, and wasn't caught once. In addition, he made a tremendous play in left field, cutting down a run at the plate with the help of catcher Steve Lake, who somehow held onto the ball after Gary Gaetti collided with him. Let's find out who had the higher success rate between Coleman and Henderson in their respective 3-year peaks. Rickey stole a combined 338 bases and was caught 87 times. Vince stole 326 and was caught 61 times. These numbers equate to a 79.5% success rate for Henderson and an 84.2% success rate for Coleman. While he stole 12 less bags, his efficiency was better than peak Rickey. While Vince didn't steal 100 or more bases in a single season again, he was still far and away the number 1 guy in the National League. In 1988, he stole a league-leading 81 bags and made his first All-Star appearance. On September 18, 1988, Vince started a streak that may never be broken. He stole his first of 50 consecutive steals without being caught. It carried over into the 1989 season and went all the way until July 28th, when he was finally caught stealing. This MLB record of 50 steals in a row has since been approached by Ichiro Suzuki, but he fell 5 short. Let me know in the comments if you think another player can match this record, or if it will stand the test of time. In 1989, Vince stole 65 bases and once again led the league. He made the All-Star team in back-to-back seasons and entered 1990 with a chance to make more history. 1990 was the last year of Vince's reign atop the National League stolen base leaderboard. He stole 77 bases and led the league for the 6th consecutive season to open his career. Vince tied Maury Wills for most consecutive seasons leading the National League in stolen bases. In this aforementioned 6-year historical stretch, Vince stole more bases than Rickey Henderson's best 6-year run of his career. From 1980 to 1985, Rickey Henderson stole 540 bases. Vince Coleman stole 9 more. Rickey stole an average of 90 bases a season, whereas Vince averaged 92. Vince also has Rickey beat in terms of efficiency, with an 82.7% success rate compared to 79.8% respectively. Vince reached free agency following the 1990 season and signed a 4-year, $11.95 million contract with the New York Mets. The sudden downturn was immediate as injuries piled up. He played for the Royals, Mariners, Reds, and Tigers in a 4-year span before deciding to retire in 1998. For his career, Vince Coleman stole 752 bases, 6th on the all-time leaderboard. Vince's career 80.9% success rate is slightly higher than Rickey's 80.8%, but we also have to keep in mind that 654 stolen bases separate the two. Had he started his career today, with the bigger bases and the limit on pickoffs, Vince Coleman very well could have stolen 200 bases in a single season. The same applies to Rickey Henderson. It's interesting to entertain that hypothetical. In 2018, Vince Coleman was inducted into the St. Louis Cardinals Hall of Fame. During his speech, he expressed his love for the 6 years he spent in St. Louis. In such a short time, he accomplished so much. Rickey Henderson gets a lot of attention, and rightfully so, but Vince Coleman in his heyday also wreaked havoc on the diamond. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and consider subscribing. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.